Focused on Fleetwood Mac, my roommate's dead, fungus fermentation, another Wonka reboot, JFK's assassination.
It's not my favorite topic, just my brain's current fixation.
Hyperfocus.
Hyperfocus, a neurodivergent podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hyperfocus, a neurodivergent podcast. I am here today with comedian, actor, singer, and makeup artist Rebecca Robles.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Virginia. Do you go by full-on Virginia, or is there
Yes.
another? Okay.
Ginny's like the default nickname.
Okay.
But I
Ginny.
just don't think I look like a Ginny.
Okay.
Yeah. But some people will like take liberties and call me that, which was more when I was a kid, but it's Virginia. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I like
you.
I hear you. I have that issue with I'm Rebecca, but people take liberties with Becky. Justin's nodding. Justin's probably born witness to that.
I was going to say Becca.
Some people are grandfathered in, but I'm okay if you want to.
Oh no, you look like I know you as Rebecca and you look like Rebecca to me,
God.
but I could just see like someone taking
doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I knew a Becca growing up, but I also knew of Rebecca, so.
Okay.
Something about I don't know. I just like a 3-syllable name. What can I say?
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's fun to write. The R is big and fun, and then the others are like curly. It's like
especially
visually,
like with cursive too. It's it's a very round name.
Your name too. You get a really fun V. Oh gosh, the people listening in their car can't see what I'm doing. I'm drawing the V with the loops, and then the wiggle,
and the
cool G,
the three dots,
and the 3 dots. Did you heart them growing up?
No.
Okay.
No, that wasn't my style.
That's okay.
Okay, so before we get into our topics,
Hi.
Because you're going to talk about figure skating.
Yes.
And then later, I'm going to talk about the Real Housewives of New York, particularly season 3.
Okay.
But before we do that, I like to start with you just like talking a little bit about your experience being neurodivergent.
Yes. Okay.
And also, I love that you're drinking your coffee with a straw.
I have to. Well, here's the thing, because I'm also a makeup artist a million years, maybe like 14 years ago. I was working with someone who had worked with Gaga's stylist, and they had told me that Gaga would have a straw to prevent the lipstick from moving around.
Oh.
And that her makeup team would like keep straws, or that somebody on set, they would always have straws. So then as a rule, I always kept straws. I was like, ooh, that's a nice little detail.
That's a great tip as a makeup artist.
Yes, so I carry straw. I snatch them all over town. And I got to travel with them because there's some states, and I do understand, that ban straws. So sometimes I have to come packing with my own
Like actually banned straws?
Actually.
Like what states actually ban?
So I don't know if it's, okay, I know in Seattle, they're really hard to find in cafes. Everyone whips out their own metal one, and I think that's really cool. But I have had problems with the metal one, like if you hit the brakes or you're on the bus and it goes in the roof of your mouth, and I'm just scared it's going to like skull me or something.
No, I mean, that's valid. I can taste the metal and I don't prefer that.
Yeah.
At home, I have glass straws that I like.
Oh, that's really...
They have little turtles on them.
To me, that says, Virginia, like, you really, like, enjoy your time. And, like, I don't.
But I love a plastic. Like, when I'm out and, like, no one gives me...
plastic.
Yeah, I love... No, if no one gives me a straw, I'm like, may I have a straw, please? And they have to go dig them out of, like, a drawer or something.
I'll just say really fast, although I think I'm kind of, like, revealing what it's like with neurodivergence. But I've been at bars. There was one bar a billion years ago in Gowanus. I was like, excuse me, do you have a straw? And it was like a really like pop-in Saturday night. And they were like, no, and here's why. And then started telling me the story of like a documentary with a turtle in the Gowanus Canal and a straw in its nose. And that is really horrible. And while they were telling me this, I was like, oh, it's never mind. I have my own. And they were like, where'd you? I was like, no, it's okay. I felt bad, but also I was like, okay, I have my own.
Yeah, it's weird to put the responsibility of plastic straws and where they end up on the consumer.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, we're not the ones destroying the world.
I know.
With our plastic straws.
Well, and I also, sometimes I have a thing, I don't always want to put my mouth on glasses.
Fair, valid and fair, especially at a bar. And
Yeah, I'm often wearing like a bright lipstick.
Yes.
And it just feels like I'm like smushing it all over the place. And
yeah, no, it's a great, I've only heard the straw with coffee to like avoid staining your teeth.
Yeah, that too.
But which feels a little bit like, I guess that makes sense, but it's still like it's still touches your teeth in your mouth.
It's still washing over all of my teeth.
But to preserve lipstick makes so much sense. So,
Well,
yeah.
Justin, oh gosh, again, everyone in their car can't see this. Justin's sweater is this lovely, like, cafe au lait, and that's like my teeth. But I think they would be more like Virginia's dark black sweater if I didn't use a straw. So anyway, repeat your question again.
Oh, yeah. What has your experience been like being neurodivergent?
So, yeah, thinking about this a lot, and I feel like I'm navigating the identity in real time. Having a diagnosis of like PTSD and OCD certainly inform that my brain works differently. Learning those two, I guess, labels through therapy has been really helpful because as a kid, and I'm sure you can relate, like I just knew I felt very, very different. I'd never ever classified it as like, I'm special, but I did feel like, I really feel frustrated that like I felt like I would really have to hone in on like who are my people, who gets me. And I think, I mean, this could go so many different directions for me, but what's coming up is like feeling afraid that I was going to be called out as like strange, weird, bad, misbehaving. And I think teachers in the 90s just didn't know what to do. Like all they knew about was Ritalin. And that came like in my middle school, but they didn't know. And so you were just labeled as a problem, but you were also assumed to be stupid and a bad student. And I think they were confused, which also those are horrible stereotypes to begin with and fundamentally not true. But like they were extra confused because I was not technically like a quote unquote problem in that way. Like I was a great student. I liked school. I didn't like being at school. I wanted to be able to like come and go as I please.
Right. Yeah. On your own terms.
Yeah, no, like truly I was like, which I will come into, I think I can tie it into figure skating and why I was so into it. But like, I really was like, can't there just be a world where like I'm around kids like me who are interested in like the creative pursuits and understand like we need to go on a walk and we need to like take some time off.
Yeah.
And like not even just take time off, like go be somewhere where we can like exclusively focus on the things that make us really happy and excited and that's just as enriching. But yeah, I'm definitely bouncing around. I talked a ton. So I would get sent to like the back of the class at like the bad kids' desk.
Where all the talkers are.
Yeah. And it was often
Yeah.
boys. It was often like, quote unquote, like the bad boys who I actually like reconnected with at my high school reunion because we also went to middle school together, a lot of us. And it was so nice to see them because I felt more like akin to them sometimes than other kids in my class because we were just all labeled as like, well, you're the problems. You're all going to go be over there. And so, yeah, I think I definitely felt lost. At least how I framed it then was like, I can tell something's off. Something is wrong. It's not wrong, but that's how it felt. And nobody's like telling me anything. They are like giving me extra time on tests, but kind of like turning the other cheek. Like even in high school, a teacher would like, it felt honestly like don't ask, don't tell. That's how it felt like, was like, oh, you can stay. I think they didn't know how to talk about it. Therefore, then neither did I.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And I just was sort of wandering around being like, every teacher thinks I'm crazy, but also they're treating me like I'm special because I'm like a good student. It also felt like super unfair. Like had I been not like bubbly or like had I been a really, really bad student on paper.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been treated like I was bad. And there were some teachers that did single me out as like, you're bad because you run your mouth. Like it definitely was not praised until I was really focusing in on like being an artist. And it makes sense then as artists, like you find those spaces where it's like, oh, thank God we're all weird here, which is a loaded word, but I was talking about it this morning in therapy. But I love that word very much. I think last thing I'll kind of say is like specifically with something like PTSD that rewires your brain to scan for threats constantly. I feel like on the positive, as a creative, like found this way to channel the hypervigilance into intense observation.
Yes.
And then that feels fun and like a superpower and incredibly helpful and special. I think it does help me if you want to speak about it because we're going to talk about sports.
Yeah.
Like that competitive edge, which is not how I like think of it, but it does give me like that, I can like lock into someone. I can deeply empathize because I'm trained, for better or worse, to scan constantly. There's this negative I've been thinking about a lot where it takes up a lot of your time.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. And your brain, where it's like I have intense struggle sleeping. All systems are going at all times.
Yeah, my sleep's been awful lately too, and
It's horrible.
the only thing that's been helping, and it's really bad, is like, and I can't do it every night, is I'll take like a Klonopin.
Yeah.
But you can't space it out because then you can get tolerant of it really quickly.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, I want it to work when I need it to work, so I save it for like the extra bad nights. But it's the one thing that like calms my thoughts because
Yeah.
they like are extra loud at nighttime.
Yes. Has that always been the case?
No, so yeah, it goes in and out. But for lately, I just haven't been able to relax.
Yeah. It's interesting too. It's making me think of like how the stereotype of like, if you can't relax, it means you're uptight. You're like an uptight cunt.
Right.
I really like that word.
No, and I think that
lot.
word that's a great word to use.
But Kate Blanchett said that was her favorite swear word on Inside the Actors Studio, and I saw it as like a kid, and I was like, I'm gonna start using that as much as possible.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
But yes, that's annoying too. I think I'm sure you've experienced this too, like you get mislabeled throughout your life, and like I'm a very outgoing person, I think naturally, but I do shut down and get very quiet and shy when I feel unsafe. I think I mean specifically like that my natural state will be policed or like criticized, like that I'll be labeled as like nuts or I paused as though like nuts is like, I'm going to say it, but like it's not a bad word at all. But like people have like assumed like they've projected a lot of negative things about me or they will like diagnose me with things. And so then I think when I learned that, as I navigated the world, I would kind of shut down around people that I felt were unsafe.
Yeah.
Who weren't going to accept me. Yeah.
So did you find that in like artistic spaces? Because I mean, I know like figure skating is a sport, but it's like a creative sport.
Yes.
But I also still kind of affiliate that with like a lot of like discipline and some certain established structure that might be like difficult.
I'm getting like so excited. The more I'm like getting more like erect in my spine as you talk about. I'm like, yes, Virginia, that's exactly right. Yes. No. Yeah. Yeah. Well, should I get into that?
Yeah.
Is this the time? Do you want to say anything?
Oh, I mean, no,
I said a lot.
The podcast knows plenty about my stuff. I sprinkle in a little bit of my stuff.
This is your moment.
Yeah. No, I think they like know everything. Well, I guess back a little bit to like the hyperactivity. Because I have ADHD, but the difference with me was like, and I realized this as I was older, it was like I was not like a physically rambunctious kid. I wasn't as like disruptive in class as like the type A boy ADHD kid, but as I got older, I realized my brain is really hyperactive.
Interesting.
And that's where the like hypervigilance comes in and the constant, it really doesn't turn off. And so that's where it kind of presents to me.
Interesting.
And I just was like, I had good grades. On paper, I was fine. But I would just have moments of being like, it can't be this hard for everybody else.
Correct.
I was like, there's no way it takes this much effort for everybody else. But I couldn't articulate it.
Yeah. And I mean, I just turned 39 a few days ago. How does everyone feel about that? Thank you, Justin. But yeah.
Is that Capricorn or Aquarius?
Aquarius.
Okay.
Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon, Libra rising.
Nice.
Branson Reese once did my chart and he was like, Aquarius much? And I think about that all the time. I hope he's listening in the car. But no, anyway. I have a very hard time focusing. I was like self-medicating for a long time with coffee. Did not understand why it worked. But then my best friend growing up, she told me, well, you know, my dad drinks espresso at night. And he actually has ADHD. And he finds that, because I remember people were like, Rebecca, why are you drinking coffee late at night? And I just was like, it's fine. Like
I would make
helps me
a pot of coffee every night, and I would still fall asleep right after.
Yeah, and
it's so fast. That's fascinating to me.
It was really interesting because when I started like getting into coffee, it was the first time I felt like my brain matched my body, or I don't know. It felt like everything came together, and I described this to my eye doctor. I was like, it's like I can see through time.
Yeah,
like I can. It just like, I was describing it once, and my boyfriend was like, oh, like you're Dr. Manhattan.
It has a lot of clarity that, yes.
It's like, felt like I live in a sphere. That's how I would describe it. And I was like, finally, all things are, or Minority Report. It was like, all things are right in front of me at once, and it's okay. But focus has always been an issue. And I think then I carry that shame of like if someone asks me a question, if I'm not locked in, I freeze and I black out. And I think then as a kid, that's where I would get labeled as like slow. They'd be like, oh, you're a slower learner. You have to, and that's true. But it was like, or maybe it was true sometimes, but it was like they would just kind of like put a label and be like, oh, I guess you're just one of those that needs to be here for hours by themselves. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, so then when did you start figure skating? Like as a child or like when you were...
So my love of figure skating, and I did bring a prop, I was probably like, 4. I was not like a figure skater, but I was obsessed with figure skating. There used to be in Berkeley, where I'm from, this big, beautiful, really important ice rink called Iceland. And it was both like for the public, but also like where high performing skaters trained. And it was this very famous rink. And my dad would take me there. My parents were divorced. So then like if my dad would be like, well, shit, what do we do today? He was, God bless him, very good about like activities. And so he'd be like, let's go to the county fair. Let's go horseback ride. And we'd use like the telephone book to find activities. And then he's like, oh, let's take you ice skating. And so I went ice skating. He would just put me out there and like public skate. And I'm like this 5-year-old. I loved it. I also thought it was like odd. I mean, you have like knives on your shoes.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was really...
Well, you're talking about getting stabbed in the mouth with a metal straw. Like, and I love to watch like the Olympic ice skating, but I also always had a fear of like someone getting their finger chopped off
Completely.
with like a blade.
Or like falling, like all these things happen. I fell, cut my hand, someone almost skated over my hand. You fall really hard, slide across, hit the boards, like lots of, I mean, it's like sharp ice, hard ice. It's terrifying. But I enjoyed it, took lessons. Actually, in figure skating class, I was probably, 5 years old. That was one of the first early memories I have of I kind of froze. I wasn't catching on as quick as everybody else because I would get overwhelmed. I'm sure there's a lot going on there, but I think maybe this is related to the PTSD. Like if I feel like I'm getting in trouble, I start to panic and like shut down. And so then I'm sure I wasn't in trouble, although all teachers back then kind of sucked. And so then it's like I black out. Maybe it's dissociate. And I just was like, I don't know what you just said. And then they would be like, oh, she needs to stay longer, I guess. And so then I think then I thought I must not have the gift but I wasn't clicking with this teacher. The other students would get praised and then I'd stay later and just be so embarrassed. It wasn't like a giving up. I also think I was pretty good about feeling in my body like this isn't my path. But I loved it. It was close to my house. We'd go to hit the rink, had birthday parties there. The biggest thing that happened that really blew my mind and what I'm like most excited about talking about is the 98 Nagano Olympics, specifically Tara Lipinski. Oh, Tara, if you're listening, you're so cool. Yeah, I was obsessed. So I was 11 years old. It was everywhere. It was the golden age of figure skating. I mean, if you can imagine a world where every time you turned on the TV or the radio or you opened the newspaper or the magazines in the grocery store, it was all about ice skating and like...
I was a huge... Is it Christine Yamaguchi?
Yeah.
I was...
Oh my God, yeah.
A huge fan as a kid.
Oh my God, yeah. Loved Oksana Bayul, of course, Michelle Kwan.
That's true. That was a big 90s thing.
It was huge. You had ice-capades. You had random skate shows, like not even competitions, like variety shows around ice skating on TV, like hour-long specials that like the family was supposed to like gather around the hearth and watch. And they were like corny and wonderful. There was like high art, for lack of better words, like this high art figure skating at Olympics. And then there was like really cool vaudevillian random skate shit on TV that I was crazy for.
Like, some people do like the tricks, like the backflips.
Oh yes. I mean, oh my God. Yeah.
And then is that when Disney on Ice
started?
Probably.
Big Disney on Ice. Yeah, I was going to Ice-capades as a kid with my parents. I was going to Disney on Ice. I was also, going to the circus. I was doing all of those, like, where I knew figure skating wasn't going to be my path. I always knew performing was going to be my thing. I asked my therapist recently, I was like, what is that connection to, like, performing, wanting to be, like, up in front and trauma? Like, because I think I know I'm not alone in this, but I think I get extremely insecure about being mislabeled as, like, oh, you selfish bitch, that you want to be up in front. Like in middle school and high school, I had a lot of supportive friends, but then there were some bullies who were like, you must like this because you just want it to be all about you. And I think that made me very sad because I felt like, well, I don't know, it's like the thing I love involves expressing yourself up in front of people. And it is similar to sports. All the K through 8 and high school I went to were much more sports focused. But it was always interesting to me, sports wasn't seen as that, even though it is like a stage and it is theatrical. I think what I loved about figure skating was it didn't like hide that. It felt so theatrical, artistic.
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's literally one person in the middle of this gigantic ring performing. And so I see Tara on TV. I'm 11, and it blows my mind. She was 15 at the time. I related to her. I was like, wow, here is this kid. She's so effervescent, energetic. She doesn't go to like regular school. She prioritizes this thing she loves. She travels around the world and like does her homework in the backseat of the car. At the time too, I was like performing outside of school. My main thing was like at that time was acting, tap dancing, and singing. I was like leaving school sometimes to like go be in plays. I was taking voice lessons. I was really into opera. Like that's what I studied in college, was classical music. I was spending a lot of time alone as a kid doing these not very contemporary art forms like tap dancing and opera, and spending a lot of time alone with like adults. And like in those days too, there was not such a sense of like support among your other peers who were performing with you. There was much more like competition, which definitely was a trickle down from like the boomer teachers.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it was very isolating. And then I'd come back to school, and my school was not an art school, so it was not like set up to support what I was doing. And then I'd feel just weird and strange, and nobody like got what I was doing. And then I see Tara, and I felt so relieved. I was like, here's this like kid doing it. And to me, I saw it not the figure skating so much through a sports lens, but through like an art lens. And to me, it was like, that's the life I want. I want that circus life. And when when you study opera, it's this high level, really intense. It's very, I feel like it's easy to explain if you're not familiar with like classical arts or classical art training, like ballet or opera. It is very Black Swan. It's very Black Swan. Such pressure. You're a kid and you're expected to like convey these extremely mature themes. Like I was a teenager singing arias about sex and loss or like miscarriages. And, like,
my first
heavy shit.
My first role in a high school musical as a freshman, I was a prostitute.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had an acting teacher that really, wanted us to be convincing. Nothing like inappropriate in terms of like
right.
But just you don't really process it until like you're older because you're older. Like 14.
Well, yeah, and like the teachers would expect me to like channel that. Would be like, "What's the problem? This is a song about, the best orgasm of your life." And I was like, how do you spell that? I'm like 18. I don't know. I was like, okay, and like getting in trouble, and like again spending a lot of time alone with adults. I grew up really fast, and so how it connects to figure skating, I just felt so happy, so relieved, so excited to watch this kid having an experience that I felt like I both felt quite lonely in, but also that was exactly the life I wanted. And she seemed really happy and cool. So I wanted to be Tara. I collected Campbell's soup cans.
And she was famous.
Oh,
like
yeah.
People were on board
to
with
be
what
going
she was
well.
doing.
Exactly. You're so smart. You're so cool, Virginia.
She's doing what something I want to do,
and it's going well,
and people like her for doing it. Yeah.
It wasn't like, and again, I wasn't like horrifically bullied, but I was definitely bullied for like wanting to be up in front, wanting to be successful. Like I was class president a bunch, like truly a bunch. People don't like that, and I get it, but I wanted to fucking do it, and I really enjoyed. You also get to leave class, which, as I said before, my brain like desperately needed. And you get to leave class and like plan things, and like also again like work with adults, like be a pseudo teacher, which like for better or worse had been my experience as a kid. So like that was where I was more comfortable. All that to say, like with the upcoming Olympics, I got super excited again, and I was like crying watching on YouTube. I was just so motivated, so inspired, seeing this new team of figure skaters who are so like Alyssa Liu, one of the figure skaters on Team USA, she was like, this is my art. Also, hair, super cool, has like very cool hair. But Alyssa was like, this is my art. I don't care about the score. Something like that. And I was like, wow, that is just so phenomenally different from what I grew up with. And I was like crying, just being like, what a beautiful group. And they're all supportive anyway of each other. But yeah, so recently I bought this. It's a autographed, I got this on Poshmark. It is a picture of Tara Lipinski right after Nagano. So probably 99, which was my like favorite year, 7th grade. Should I take it out? Yeah. It's a signed photo of Tara Lipinski when she was doing a collab with DKNY. So I went to Costco and bought all the DKNY I could.
That was big. It was a big moment for DKNY too. Also, I forgot how great her bangs are.
Amazing bangs.
Yeah.
She uses a heart in her signature. But I bought this recently because it was like such a formative time in my life. And I wanted to have that commemorative thing. And I did meet her at the rink, and I like freaked out and called my parents. And like, yeah, anyway, just.
Was she there for like,
she was
for
there
fun
to just like practice and just like hang out.
Oh my God.
And I've to this day, I've never, like, I've met other famous people. I've met so many famous people. But I have but Tara's number one.
No, I get like there's a lot of famous people I could care less about. And
Truly.
Then every once in a while it's someone.
Yeah, Tara blew my mind. Anyway.
Just like, I'm going to fan out hard on this.
So hard. Tara, yeah, if you're listening, yeah, you were just so helpful. It was, representation. It was like seeing a young person care about this thing they loved so deeply. It came first. Their family was supportive. I think it just gave me hope, like maybe this is possible. Because again, I didn't know till I was like an adult that arts schools existed. And I do feel some like grief and sadness about not having that like support as a kid in that way, like from your school. But like watching the Olympics, like getting revved up for it is like healing. It's like giving me hope. But yeah.
No, it is exciting. And, well, right now I'm doing the artist's way.
Ooh, solo dates.
Solo dates, exactly. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't do my morning pages today. I'm not doing a good job of it.
Do them now.
No, it takes like a good. It takes a while. It's not. I will do them, and I'm doing a fine job at the artist's way. So we're not supposed to be mean to ourselves.
Oh my God.
Well, speaking of being mean,
New York.
I'm trying to segue, but
no, please, Housewives, please.
We'll shift gears to Real Housewives of New York for time. Or have you watched this series at all?
No, but I have met Andy several times.
Okay.
And I've been to the Bravo Clubhouse.
Amazing.
As a makeup artist do makeup for clients. Shout out Smith Sisters on Radio Andy. I think there have been some housewives in the building when I was at Watch What Happens.
Listen, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Speaking of like not caring about celebrities, I had a show in New York Comedy Festival a couple months ago, and Heather Gay, who's a big housewife, Salt Lake City, Utah, literally came up to the stage to play an audience game. Like, I'm like, what's your name? She's like, Heather. No idea who she was. Like, she left, and then after everyone was like, that was Heather. I'm like, I don't know who Heather is. And thankfully, our photographer knew who Heather was and got plenty of photos. But I was like,
wait, where did this happen?
A caveat.
I don't know why I thought it was happening in Vegas.
Oh, no, I know. No, I don't know why she was at my show.
In the blank. I was like, you were doing a show in Vegas. You took your show to Vegas.
No, New York Comedy Fest, just literally down the block.
That's
I don't know how she found her way to my show.
That's so cool.
I watched, I think, like the early seasons in high school, and then I went to college and stopped watching. But my friend, Joe Wild, who has done Hyperfocus, the show, and the podcast also, they have their own rewatch podcast of RHONY, and so I've done it twice. And so I was sick last week, and I was going in to discuss season 3, episode 1. So I was like, well, I might as well watch season 2 so I know what's going in. And then I read how iconic season 3 was, that I watched all of season 3, and so now Joe's Hyperfocus has become my Hyperfocus.
I need to get into this.
I don't think I'll watch all the way to like the current day episodes, because there is something I really love about like early 2000s reality television.
Yeah.
And seeing how it gets shaped into what it is today. So like I love the old episodes, and I think once they get newer I might not be as into it. But also watching this season has like, so it's an iconic season. You have 6 housewives with the introduction of like Sonia halfway through. Sonia Morgan, who married into the JP Morgan family.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I looked up everyone's like
That's
deal.
Bone chilling.
So you have You have Bethany Frankel, obviously the most famous. Everyone
Skinny
knows Bethany.
margarita,
Skinny girl margaritas.
Cocktails. Yeah, she peed in her dress at her wedding, right? Or she had to pee.
Probably.
It was like the Bethany show in like 2009. She needed help, I think, peeing at her wedding.
I think everyone loved Bethany for just how
nice,
straightforward and like open she was about. But a lot of the housewives are like, all of the housewives are like that. Like they're too revealing, but then they'll like police each other on being too revealing.
Sure.
It's fascinating.
Wait, is Paige DeSorbo? Where does she fall into the mix? Paige DeSorbo.
Probably a later season.
Okay.
But we have Countess Luann, who she's going through a divorce this season.
Okay.
She married into the family that created the Suez Canal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We have Ramona Singer.
Yes.
Who
I can see her in my mind's eye.
Blonde. I love Ramona actually a lot. And we have Alex and Simon. They're like the quirkier couple that lives in Brooklyn. We have Jill. Her arc on this show kind of like spirals on this season, which is really fascinating. And a new addition, Kelly Ben-Simone married, is it Gil Ben-Simone, the famous fashion photographer?
Okay. Yeah.
And is divorced.
Wow. Oh, gosh.
Okay. But it's, I know, I was studying the backgrounds
so
of
much
everyone.
heartbreak.
And it is. And it's like, it was a really fascinating season to watch because, well, all the iconic moments happen. Like, you must have seen the meme of like Ramona walking like the catwalk with the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That happens. Countess Luann records her song called Money Can't Buy You Class.
Okay.
It goes, money can't buy you class. Money can't buy you class. Yeah. And it's like,
true. Never been truer.
It's like auto-tuned, and like her producer's like, I think she sounds great. I think she sounds like Madonna or Fergie. It's incredible.
Wait, is this the same world as like Tardy to the Party? Don't be tardy to the party. I feel like there
is
might
that a song?
Yeah, I think there was a housewife who sang that, or maybe I'm mixing everything up.
No, I'm sure there's so much like
seems to be, a lot of recording artists.
And I'm sure she paved the way for other housewives to be like, I'm gonna record a song also.
That's really cool. That's fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun. She is iconic.
Who's your favorite?
So I actually think I love Ramona the most.
Do you identify with Ramona?
This has been interesting. I think what I've been reflecting a lot on is like their communication styles and how I actually kind of respect a lot of it because, well, kind of also speaking to like just saying stuff, like Ramona will just say things and like not know that it's like taboo to talk about. Like Kelly's boob job. She's like, oh yeah, you're going to get another boob job. Like, that's great. Like, because they're like lopsided and now they're going to be even. And people are like, you can't talk about her boob job. She's like, but everyone knows. And she's posing for Playboy. Why can't I talk about her boob job? But you know, but like, it's stuff like that I'm like, no, I mean, I get what she's coming from. And anytime anyone, it's a lot of like, you hurt my feelings. And people just being like, I'm sorry. Let's bury the hatchet. And like, that just kind of happens over and over again. And
do you feel like they're real apologies? Or do you get any like...
yeah, some real apologies, some not so much. Or some just sort of like...
performative.
Yeah. But I think it's more just like the directness of it. Okay, so the biggest conflict was like Jill and Bethany were best friends, like tied at the hip, seasons 1 and 2.
Okay.
Going into season 3, Jill's husband has cancer. And so she's dealing with that. Luann is going through a divorce, and Bethany's career is taking off.
What year is this again?
This is 2010.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. Okay, I'm totally locked in. That was a good year. That was everything was taking off for us in a way.
All things considered, 2010 was a good year. In hindsight, that was a pretty good one.
It's a good one. It felt like everything was possible. And the thing is, I was living with a family in kind of near LA. It was right before I moved to New York, and they were really into, and I found the family on Craigslist. Wonderful family. Yeah. I don't think you can find that kind of family on Craigslist today. But in 2009, I really hit gold. They were really into Bethany. That was where I saw them and saw Bethany. Yeah.
So we're starting off season 3 where Bethany emerges as the clear star of the franchise. And
nice. The Tara of
yes, the Tara Lipinski of Real Housewives of New York, if you will. She's killing it, like in every which way, shape, or form.
Nice.
Because the first, couple seasons, she's like, I'm trying to find love, and everyone's like giving her all their advice on their like happy marriages that fall apart in the, in the next season, and she finds love, and literally all of season 3, she like her brand takes off. She's doing like an ad for PETA that's like a big deal.
I remember that.
She got like 2 more book deals. She gets engaged. She gets pregnant. Like everything is happening for Bethany, and these other women are not on top. Like they were on top, and she was quote unquote the underdog, as Ramona called it in season 2 to Bethany's face. Ramona was like, well, Jill likes the underdog. That's why she likes you, because she thinks you're an underdog. which
it's definitely like I'm blanking on the word, but it's like a cunt way of being like, you're doing well. It's like slighting. You can't just say like you're having success. It's like almost like you weren't expected to. And like, wow.
Well, I think Ramona was just kind of calling it how it was, which in the moment was hurtful to Bethany. But then in season 3, she was like, actually, I think Ramona was right when she said that. And maybe that is true.
Oh, shit. Okay, so now I'm a cunt.
No. It's a lot of people don't like I just respected Ramona so much because at this beginning of season 3, her dad passed away, who was like really abusive. It almost was like she was lighter and like turned a new leaf, and she got a new haircut, and she was like, and she's like 53 years old, and she tries to always just have a good time wherever she is. And I just love that so much about, like, she loves to dance. She's like, I got a boat. Like, someone rented me a boat. I mean, it's also maybe easier to always have a good time when you're rich. But it's like,
but it sounds like a nice reminder of like not being afraid to, announcement, not being afraid to be yourself. I learned this just now. I have a huge breaking news update.
But that is it. And I think that's like my favorite Housewives. Bethany is the pinnacle of that. And I just think Bethany Frankel is always meant to be on TV.
Yes.
I don't think she's like the best person in the world, but I also do really like her a lot.
You can't be the best person in the world.
Well, no one is.
No one is.
But it was just nice to watch, like, like the women who were like having a hard time. But I think a lot of it was also just like seeped in jealousy of like Bethany. And like fame changes everyone, and the show blew up, and everyone kind of came back a little different, it felt like. But like how you could see kind of like Luann and Kelly and Jill kind of in their own little world and kind of getting worked up about like Bethany and her success. And Bethany did like reach out as a friend during their hard times and like sent flowers or like tried to email. In their minds, it wasn't enough. And you could just see the juxtaposition of Bethany kind of having no clue how upset they were and how it was stewing. And for me, like, I feel like I can be that person that will like ruminate and stew and linger on things. And maybe the other person just like has no clue. And then it all gets aired out.
I get that.
As reality TV does. And I don't know, it's interesting to watch like how they communicate and then maybe how I could better do that too.
No, it's not. I hear you. It sounds soothing. I think it's also why I'm making like a snap connection, but people really love and feel deeply comforted by the Kardashians. Like, I actually do feel in defense of those super fans because I get it. If it's like what I hear over and over again is like, well, but it's fun to watch family.
And people have fun. Funny. Early seasons, I remember them being very funny.
And wildly candid. And I do think, what you're getting at is so true. It seems like, wow, maybe is the whole point of life like chasing that, just not being afraid to say what you think. And with that comes, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have to apologize like these ladies do on the Housewives. And like, I've been learning that too and taking that more to heart, like not being so, like, again, part of my PTSD and OCD is like policing myself. Probably doesn't help. I was raised by 2 cops who did their best, but like constantly being like, oh my God, I'm going to say something bad. And it's like, but yeah, I will. That's guaranteed. And it's not a reason to like change your personality. And also it's a good reminder and practice of like, you'll get the opportunity to practice apologizing and repair and taking accountability, which like reality TV does offer. And it is incredibly inspiring and I think soothing to watch like the Housewives or like being like, okay, oops, I said that. Like, let's just work it out on camera.
Yeah, it's bury the hatchet.
That's pretty cool.
It's so funny you said that because it's a little bit of a joke, but my New Year's resolution this year was to be meaner.
Oh, yeah. Watch out, world. How exciting. How exciting.
But not like, it's like mostly a bit, but more I think just to, like you said, not police myself so much because I am like hyper self-aware, often to a fault. But I think I have a fear of people who have no self-awareness, or I don't have a fear of them. I have a fear of becoming them.
Same.
And it's a balance of like how to have self-awareness, but still be okay being myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so true. I hear you on the meaner. I too am trying to, it's like I have a version of that where I'm trying to be more open to really fucking up and having to be like, ring, ring. I'm really sorry. I totally fucked up.
Yeah, well, you're talking about astrology. I'm Virgo rising, so
Okay,
but Sag, Sun, and Moon. So I am also often at odds with myself, but the Virgo rising's very perfectionist and working on making mistakes and being okay with it is maybe that's part of the being meaner theme for this year.
Well, I can't wait. I for one, look forward with the rest of the fans to Virginia being so mean.
So mean.
That's exciting. Dare I say cunt?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I could use a little cunt
we all could.
in my life. I think ending on being cuntier this year is a great way to like end this podcast. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me anytime. This is really fun. What a beautiful space. Yeah, you're really cool, so smart, and just like, it's really nice to talk to you.
Thank you. It's so nice to talk to you too. I know, I wish we had more time.
I know.
Rebecca Robles is an actor, singer, makeup artist, and comedian in New York City, and you can follow them on Instagram at Lobster Bisque and also at Beauty by Rebecca Robles on Instagram. We'll link that in the show notes. You can also see them on all 5 seasons of Search Party that is now on Netflix, which is a wonderful show. And you can follow this podcast on Instagram at Hyperfocus Comedy, also linked in the show notes. There's also a Patreon if you would like to support the show. I'm Virginia Dickens, and this has been Hyperfocus, a neurodivergent podcast.